This is the pit road shocker that's rocking the NASCAR world. Kyle Larson's Pocono disaster has fans and drivers alike buzzing. From contender to pretender in the blink of an eye, Larson has got the speeding penalty that could change everything. Picture this. It's Sunday, July 14th, 2024 at Pocono Raceway. Kyle Larson is wheeling his number 5 Hendrick Motorsports Chevy near the front of the field, looking fast and hungry for a win. The race is well into the second stage and green flag pit stops are cycling through. Larson hits pit road for a routine stop, but little does he know, trouble is brewing. NASCAR's pit road speed monitors light up. Larson busted for speeding in Section 7. A drive-through penalty is issued, and just like that, Larson's chances at a victory evaporate. After the race, a clearly frustrated Kyle Larson didn't mince words about the penalties. He was insisting that he didn't think he was speeding. Larson said, "I'm not sure yet. I'll have to talk to, the team. I think it sounds like, yeah, Section 7 of the pit road is different maybe than it was in the past. Bit of a bummer just 'cause I didn't push it. I didn't push it over our max. Like I never thought I would be speeding. So when they came on the radio and said that we would be speeding, I was surprised." You could hear the disbelief in Larson's voice.
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to talk to, the team. I think it sounds like, Section 7's different maybe than it was in the past. It was a bit of a bummer just because, it wasn't, I didn't push it. I didn't push over our max. Like I never thought that I would be speeding. So when they came on the radio and said that it looked like we were speeding, I was surprised.
He seemed genuinely baffled that NASCAR busted him not once, but twice. It's rare to hear a driver question NASCAR's decisions so directly post-race, especially a usually even-keeled guy like Larson. Larson looked puzzled and frustrated by NASCAR's call. He clearly felt he had stayed within the pit road speed limit and couldn't understand why he was penalized. The speeding penalty came at Section 7, one of the segments where NASCAR monitors pit road speeds, but Larson sounded unconvinced that he had actually broken the rules, at least not to an extent that warranted a penalty. It's unusual to hear a driver question NASCAR's decisions so directly after a race. Larson is normally very even-keeled in interviews. So for him to openly express surprise and disagreement with the penalty shows just how strongly he felt he was in the right. There's no getting around it. The speeding penalty absolutely destroyed Kyle Larson's chances of winning at Pocono. He had been running up front most of the day and his car looked strong. A victory was definitely within reach. But the drive-through penalty for speeding is one of the costliest infractions in NASCAR. Larson had to come down pit road and drive through the pits at the mandated speed, putting him nearly a lap down to the leaders. On a track like Pocono where passing is difficult, making up that lost ground was nearly impossible, even for a driver as talented as Larson. His race was effectively over after that penalty. He limped home to a 13th place finish. To go from contending for the win to a finish outside the top 10 because of one penalty is a massive points hit. Those are the kinds of swings that can change the trajectory of a driver's whole season. Kyle Larson wasn't the only big name to get nabbed for speeding at Pocono. Chase Elliott, the current series points leader and Larson's teammate at Hendrick Motorsports, was also penalized for speeding on pit road. Like Larson, Elliott was running near the front when he got caught speeding. The penalty took him out of contention for the win as well. He ended up finishing a disappointing P9. Another driver bitten by the speeding bug was Daniel Suarez. He too received a drive-through penalty for going too fast on pit road. Suarez had been running solidly in the top 10, but the penalty sunk his chances at a good finish. He wound up P16. So Larson was in good company with other top drivers also getting penalized. But that's little consolation for how much the penalty cost him and his team. The big question coming out of Pocono is how much this disastrous race will impact Kyle Larson going forward. He's locked into the playoffs thanks to his win at Richmond earlier this season, but this is a significant hit in terms of momentum and potential playoff points. Remember, playoff points carry through each round until the reset at Phoenix for the Championship 4. Those extra points can be crucial in advancing. especially in the ultra-tight rounds of 8 and 12. Larson is one of the most talented and consistent drivers in the series, so he's still a major threat for the title. But this penalty definitely stings and could come back to haunt him if he has any missteps in the playoffs. There's also the question of confidence and second-guessing going forward. Will Larson and his team be in their own heads now every time they come to pit road? Will they play it too safe and lose time, or will they be even more aggressive to make up for Pocono? The mental game is a huge part of racing, and this penalty could linger in the back of their minds. Larson now has to be perfect on pit road the rest of the way or risk another crushing penalty. That's a tough position to be in. Kyle Larson definitely doesn't agree with the penalties he got at Pocono, but were they actually too harsh? Let's look at both sides. On one hand, the rules are the rules. NASCAR has clear pit road speed limits and a well-defined system for monitoring them. If you exceed the limit, even by a fraction, you're going to get penalized. It doesn't matter if you're leading or last, a superstar or a rookie. The rules apply equally to everyone. Speeding on pit road is a choice. It's a calculated risk drivers take to gain an advantage. They know the limits and they choose to push them. If they go over, that's on them. But the penalty for speeding is incredibly severe. A pass-through penalty under green conditions will cost you at least a lap, often more. It's essentially a race ender unless you have a lot of cautions to help you catch up. Is that too harsh for what could be exceeding the limit by just a fraction of a mile per hour? Some would argue yes. After all, it's not like speeding on pit road is a safety issue or gives an enormous competitive advantage. It's a rule that's more about procedure than competition. There's also the question of consistency and transparency. Drivers often say they feel NASCAR isn't always consistent with these calls, or that the system for measuring speeds isn't foolproof. Without seeing the data themselves, they're left to just take NASCAR's word for it. In Larson's case, his sheer disbelief at the penalties suggests he thinks something wasn't right. Whether that's true or not, it's understandable for him to be frustrated when he feels he didn't do anything wrong. Larson is too good to let one bad race define his season, but there's no denying this was a major missed opportunity and a real gut punch for the number 5 team. They'll have to put it behind them quickly and focus on the races ahead. As for whether the penalties were too harsh, that's up for debate. I want to know what you think. Did NASCAR make the right calls on Larson? Will this impact his championship chances? How will he and his team bounce back? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more NASCAR news and analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.